Razabani for IFL TV, proudly sponsored by Everlast. I'm delighted to have with me on Zoom today my man, Richard Riakporhe. Rich, firstly, how are we doing, my man?
I'm doing good. I'm doing very good. How you doing?
I'm good, my man. It's the weekend, but literally back-to-back interviews, trying to get everyone squeezed in today. How's life? How's Loughborough?
Yeah, Loughborough is good. It's quite sunny today, actually. Went for a nice walk in the morning. And yeah, just chilling. Gonna watch the game. Liverpool versus Palace. I need to find flipping. It's crazy. Some of these games are not shown on the big on the main channels now. So it's like you have to just find the platform showing them. I think the Zone kind of something showed them. I don't know, but that's what I want to watch. And chill. That's it.
Obviously, a couple of weeks out now. You've been out of the ring. I think nearly approaching 2 years now. So. Yeah. Looking forward to getting back in 2nd of October.
Absolutely. Going to be back in doing what I do best and need to shake off this ring rust and just get back in it, get back on it, back on the train.
Obviously, I know I've spoken to you not long ago, maybe 6-8 weeks ago, and we talked about obviously you're not getting any younger now. So I know you've secured this deal with Sky and Boxer.
Yeah.
You're going to get out October, but your aim will be to make up of lost time now and stay as active as possible.
Absolutely. And I think I've got a really brilliant opportunity to be as active as possible. I'm working close with Sky, Boxer, and they've got, a lot of dates for me, and they're really looking to push me. So that's all I wanted. One of the main things, even when I was boxing, when I was active before, I wanted to be, as soon as I had my fight, I was messaging, calling my manager saying, listen, I want to be out like ASAP. Like, I'm talking about, I want to take it old school. Sugar Ray Robinson fighting, flipping 10 rounders every 3 weeks, 4 weeks, take it old school because, we're here for a good time and not a long time. So we want to make the most of it. And I want to be like a proper throwback fighter.
Which I'm sure, obviously, when you were kind of looking on who to sign with, I know obviously you worked with Eddie Hearn and Matchroom, and I'm sure you've had multiple offers, but and I know you've obviously fought on Sky for predominantly most of your career, but what was your reason behind choosing Sky as your go-to platform now for the next 5-6 fights?
Yeah, because Sky had a brilliant opportunity. I spoke to them. They basically gave me their plan, and because they were quiet, everybody assumed that, I don't know what, they didn't have a clue what they wanted to do, but they had a big plan that they put together, and they had me as one of the main fighters of their platform, and hoping that I would take up the offer. And when they kind of just went through the plan with me and told me, listen, we want you here, we want to push you in this way, we want to have you as active as possible and make tons of money. Listen, it made so much sense, and we have to remember, we're prize fighters and we want to get the most out of this financially at the same time, but also on such a powerful platform. You cannot go wrong. If we're talking the numbers, the hits that they get on the digital alone, like we're talking about over 1 billion hits a month. I'm saying it's ridiculous numbers. We're not talking about the numbers on Sky Sports News. They can literally build up a fight on Sky Sports News within a week and have the interest of casual fans. So it just made so much sense. I always liked Adam Smith, always liked everybody at Sky, and they liked me too. So I think it was a perfect relationship just waiting to just happen, and to let's say marriage.
Rich, obviously, the reason I pinged you for a message was I wanted to obviously discuss the up-and-coming fight next week. Anthony Joshua is back in the ring against Alexander Usyk. You've been around Anthony Joshua for a number of weeks, and obviously you share the same coach and trainer in Angel Fernandez. How's he been looking in the gym?
He's been looking very sharp. He's been mentally ready. He's really geared up for this fight, and trust me, like he's not coming to lay down. Let's just put it that way. He's coming to take what he's, and he's very confident that he will.
Obviously, Alexander Usyk was, people say, one of the greatest cruiserweights of all time. He's accomplished so much in such a short space of time, beating the best out there, becoming the undisputed champion, winning the Muhammad Ali trophy. We obviously have seen him at heavyweight against Derek Chisora, etc. Had 2 fights, didn't look as impressive, but do you think he'll really turn on the tables and it'll be a tough night for Joshua?
Yeah, he's coming to win. From what I heard, like he's confident in himself. Obviously, he hasn't experienced boxing in front of like 70,000 fans, so that's going to be a whole new experience for him. You know, that could be overwhelming. But he believes this is his destiny to become heavyweight champion. You can tell by the interviews that he puts out, people that talk in and around his team. So he's definitely going to come to win. But it's going to be very interesting how it unfolds, because on one side we got Anthony Joshua, heavyweight, like a natural born heavyweight, powerful, and he's got some freakish genetics. So he's agile, he can move around, he can box you, he's got experience. He knows what this takes, what this is about at heavyweight. Then on the other hand, you have Usyk, a mover, very skilled southpaw, and his boxing IQ is very high. But he was very, very effective at cruiserweight. But this is heavyweight boxing. Heavyweight boxing where one punch can change the whole fight. You can be winning on points and get knocked out in the last second of the last round. So that makes it even more interesting. So it's going to be interesting how it unfolds. And I got my kind of opinions. I believe that Joshua's going to take this fight. I believe that he'll probably win by knockout. I think it's likely. There's some shots where I feel like Usyk is quite vulnerable to, because his primary defense is his feet. What happens when he doesn't move his feet or he gets trapped? We've seen when he fought Chisora, and Chisora hit him with some overhand rights, and hit his chest. It's like he looked like he was trapped, like he was in trouble, because he's not really used to kind of moving around his upper body. He's always moving his legs. So it's gonna be interesting. What happens if AJ corners him and then hits him with a shot? Might block it, defend it, because he's got great reflexes, but then comes again with like his mid-range shots, which he's amazing at. I think that could be a good night, honestly. Simple right hands. So yeah, it's going to be interesting. I'm looking forward to it.
A lot of people are talking about size and saying, there's different types of heavyweights, but when you start dealing with the Anthony Joshuas, the Dillons, the Furies, the Wilder, you're talking about fighters who are a lot heavier, a lot bigger, longer reaches. But there were a couple of pictures that went around maybe end of last week or the week before, where Anthony Joshua, it seemed like he'd slimmed down quite a bit, and people are thinking maybe he might try to box with Alexander Usyk. What can you tell us from what you've seen?
Yeah, he's quite slim. He's definitely slimmer, and obviously you could tell by the pictures. And he can box with him. You have to bear in mind, even though Usyk's a mover, you have to come forward to win. You know what I mean? You have to fight at the end of the day. So how long would you be able to move around for? On top of that, Joshua has the advantage with reach, size, and power. So he's got great advantages, the most important advantages. And Usyk is a bit too small. He's like 6'3", first of all. He's like 3 inches less than Joshua in height. He doesn't have the punching power that Joshua has. Joshua might have more confidence after taking a few shots, maybe on his guard, his arms from Usyk. So that would enable him to take more risk, and we would see a whole different fight. I feel like if Joshua edges forward just slowly and intelligently, he might feel that mental pressure that he normally puts on all these opponents. Pouring with a jab, moving his head, staying right in front of the opponent and working at a high rate, giving the opponent so much to think about going upstairs and downstairs, then he can literally flip the table and literally be the bully. You know what I mean? You know, like Street Fighter Bullrog. Is it Bullfrog or Bullrog? Just literally just coming, just moving like that, just whacking him, you know what I mean, mid-range and keeping him there, slipping and missing. You know, Canelo-esque style. Trust me, that would give him issues. And I can imagine him, like, for example, trying to exit and turn. If he's sticking out his arm and trying to turn right, he could receive a lot of shots at the same time. You know, upstairs and downstairs. And we've seen it before. We've seen when he tries to pull out and keeps his lead hand to his body and leans back. You know, it's dangerous. It's all dangerous, and that could be all in favor for Joshua to land one of these massive right hands. That's all you need. But I know Joshua is very intelligent. He's not going to go crazy, you know, start, you know, letting his hands go until he sees the right opportunity. So I think it's going to be good, and this is going to be I think it's going to be a great fight because it's going to show what type of fight Joshua says. I've said it many times before. Not scared to take a fight. A lot of people have avoided Usyk. Let's put that straight. A lot of people thought southpaw, mover, great boxing IQ. Forget about that. Don't worry about that. We'll have another talk about that down the line someday. And yeah, but he ended up taking a fight. You know, you have to respect that. You have to respect it.
Richard, obviously the heavyweight division's got some big fights coming up. Obviously, as you just talked about, Joshua Usyk, we got Wilder Fury, we got Dillian Whyte versus Aj-Usyk end of October. We've got Parker Chisora. The heavyweight division could open really, really wide if certain fights go certain ways. I know everyone's talking about Joshua Fury, undisputed, but if Joshua loses, Usyk's got the belt, there could be a rematch. Wilder could beat Fury, you know, Wallin could beat Whyte. Puts him in a great position. So the heavyweight division is looking quite tasty in the next couple of months.
Yeah, it's definitely looking tasty. And it's true what you said, things can literally just change just like that. You know, it all depends on the outcomes of these fights. But one fight, which I'm definitely looking forward to, is that Whyte-Wallin versus Dillian Whyte. I think a lot of people underestimated Wallin when he fought Tyson Fury, but they realized he's got the fighting spirit. That he comes forward, and he's agile. He's not scared to throw the hands, not scared to take a shot. That's perfect for Dillian. That style is gonna gel just like that, because Dillian is quite similar. We'll see how he does with the body shots. And who else? Wilder versus Tyson Fury. I don't know who else. Yeah, who else is watching this? He's seeing the videos of Wilder, like training. He looks possessed. He actually looks possessed. So don't write off Wilder. If you're a fool, don't write off Wilder. And I've seen some heavyweights that the public will know of, and they've told me personally, this guy's gonna knock out like Fury. They said to me, they'll be surprised. But obviously I'm not gonna say who said that to me, but they said, yeah, he's gonna knock out Fury. So it's gonna be interesting. And one thing I tell you, you can't fake the spirit of a fight. You know, you can look at him, you can see the body language, and you can tell that, yeah, this guy is coming to fight for real. You know, and he's not gonna lay down for nobody. And I hope Tyson Fury has taken it seriously, because everybody knows is that he's talented and he can box anybody's ears off, you know, if he really puts his mind to it. But it's not just about that talent. You know, there's so many different other elements as a fighter that you have to have, you know, spirit, will, you know, desire to win, discipline. You know, if you're lacking in one, it's gonna show in the ring, and you end up losing. So yeah, it's gonna be interesting. It's definitely gonna be interesting.
I just want to go back to last week. I know we've got these YouTube style, MMM style boxing events that are taking place now. Last week, I didn't stay up for it, but you must have caught up with the highlights. Obviously, Evander Holyfield, one of the greatest cruiserweights of all time, and also a very, very successful heavyweight as well. Not many have done it like him. 58 years old in the ring. It was quite sad to see. Not sure if you saw the highlights.
Listen, if I was one of the heads of these organizations, these governing bodies, whoever even thought of putting on a fight with this legend at 58 years old, 58. Let me just say that one more time. 58 years of age. They would have lost their jobs straight away on the spot. I'll be like, are you insane? Bye. See you later. 58. Come on. He was boxing like, I'm talking about active in the 1990s. How many decades ago was that? Wow. Do you know how much punishment he's taken through the training camps, through the fights alone? We're talking about Riakporhe, those clashes and the effects that would have had on his body, especially at that age. He should have been nowhere near that ring, let alone inside it. And I can't believe this is going on. It's still, these things are still happening. It's really sad, man. It was a sad thing to see.
Rich, is it going to take, and I'm going to say this in a way where, is it going to take something bad to happen to a fighter before these people realize we should stop doing this?
It might have to. Unfortunately, I have to say that it might have to take something bad happening. And nobody wants that, because it's not going to be good for the sport of boxing. It's not going to bring any positivity, any positive light or attention to the sport. So they have to literally put a stop to this. Like, seriously, put a stop to this. It's not worth it. If certain fighters of old need some financial support, there needs to be like type of some organization to help support things or put them in places. They've learned the sport of boxing for so many years. There's gems that they can transfer over the decades of learning the sport, and they can package and sell as a product or service. Like, trust me, it's not rocket science. And they just need to put these things in place, because it can't be happening. It's not right. It's not healthy. I've seen videos of Riakporhe, talking about how he's gonna come back in the ring and this and that. I don't think people understand. It's like, you have to condition your body to fight, and for injury prevention as well, because you might get yourself fit, then jump in the ring and have a fight, and then you end up with some massive injury. You have to condition yourself first, and that's the foundation. Build that injury prevention, and then you have to condition yourself for the fight. But people just don't think, oh, fight, condition myself for the fight. When you're fighting for long periods of time, what do you think is going to happen when you haven't exercised or performed in that way for how many years? You're not going to be able to do it. It's seriously dangerous for you. Don't even think about it. And if we're talking about comeback fights, you would definitely have to prepare for at least 1 year, one year and a half, 1 year, if you want to be safe. And these guys are not doing that. How can, I heard Holyfield came off like a short notice because of Oscar De La Hoya catching COVID. What? And he's 58. Gosh, man. If you ever heard that I want to make a return, just send me this interview, please.
I'll definitely save it. Let's hope that these organizations and also, more importantly, commissions who sanction these fights can stop this happening, and before something really, really bad happens to the fighters. Rich, I don't want to take too much of your time. I know obviously you're in the midst of training camp. I wish you well and success in the remaining kind of 10, 12 days of camp. I know you're still in Loughborough, so you got a run tonight, and then hopefully we'll definitely be catching up with you across fight week.
That's it.
Richard Riakporhe,
thank you very much.
IFL TV, thank you very much.
Peace.